Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's August 25th, 2020, and today I want to talk to you about using old magazines, books, paper products, a whole variety of materials that we generally generate as a waste product when we're done using whatever it is, from the pizza box to the carton, the carton of oranges, whatever it may be that we've used. And in the past, I posted videos talking about how I would use our old journal, the New England Journal of Medicine, basically magazines for professionals, and books and paper products, and with all of the different types of inks that are used in these, the glossy images in these magazines and books and all. And I would use it in our hugelkultur systems. And I have posted this season, this year I posted a video talking about dissecting, taking apart a large hugelkultur mound, and I'll try to remember to put a link up there for that video. And no books or materials like that were seen. Very few woody remnants were there. Now that took several years for that to break down. And I've also shown videos where we do sheet mulching and I don't pull the tape off the sheet mulch. Really controversial issue amongst permaculturists, and so I've been called names for that. But if the tape doesn't break down when you're going through the area and working in the area, you just pick up the tape. The cardboard and paper products have already broken down. And I posted videos going back into the area where the third food forest is, where I had used all these different cardboard and paper products and covered it with wood chips, and went back, and really there were no remnants in those areas as well. So yesterday what I decided to do is where our 2 rows of hazelnuts are, there's an area at one end. I had resloped this area in a video last year, and I had moved out our fruit and nut trees that were next to the steep slope going into a swale that drains into Pond 2. And I took all of that gravel and bony material and put it up higher on the mound to make the slope more gradual. And as a result, a lot of crappy soil was put right around one end of the hazelnut bushes and all. So that's where I decided to go ahead and demonstrate using books and magazines and trashy paper products, from paper towels, all of those sorts of things. Now, all this season, as we pulled out our cauliflower, our broccoli, our cabbage remnants, when we have a couple of corn stalks had broken down, all the garlic tops, because I've cured the garlic and all, but I went through the process of taking all the tops off them, even now taking the roots off some, and some of the outer wraps. And all of this previously alive organic material, whether it's paper products, and yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Thea processed some of our sweet corn, so there was the cobs. And the cobs of the corn are a potential intestinal foreign body, so I wanted to make sure that they were covered up in a location. This year I'm not doing one of the big composting systems that I usually do each year. And so I decided to take all this organic material and start placing it, as the season has been progressing here, along in between all of the hazelnut bushes. We have a lot further to go, but I decided, since we had the corn cobs to cover up, I decided to take some of Thea's been on a cleaning rampage in the barn area. And so a lot of the books we haven't been using, and magazines and all, and with the current pandemic, it's just a challenge even trying to deal with Craigslist at this point. So a lot of these books and magazines and paper products from our kitchen products, we incorporated and then took a small load of wood chips, just a couple of bucket loads, and covered those up. And this is something we can watch over time. But I just wanted to show you the most simplistic way of potentially mulching, not sheet mulching, because sheet mulching, and I try to explain in the video, is really trying to completely keep all the weeds from emerging through the cardboard products and all. And the way the books and the magazines are going down, it's not sealing off and occluding the possibility of emergence of weeds through these areas. Will it help out a lot because of the paper products and all the vegetable matter and all that? Yes. But all of these organic materials will break down gradually and feed the microorganisms, and it's the microorganisms that feed the trees and the bushes and all. So that's enough preamble to this whole video. But I just wanted to show this process. We can always go back to these areas each year and see how long it takes for these big books and magazines to break down over time. We're in a drought right now, and therefore it's going to take a while for all of these to absorb the moisture. And the thicker the book or the magazine, whatever it is, the more time it'll take for those for it to get completely inoculated. Now, I'm not taking any of the inoculum from our food forest or other areas. This is just trying to do it just like anybody else would do it who doesn't have a natural forest that has the leaf material, the humus material that the fungal organisms are already in, that you can inoculate your areas. And I've done that before in videos. This is just to go ahead and see those microorganisms that are on the surface of all that organic material that we've been talking about. Even on the books, there's microorganisms on the books. These are not harmful to us. And the other thing that's in there too is the kitty litter. In the past, I've talked about composting kitty litter to rid us of pathogens like Toxoplasma gondii and so on, and any other organisms that are in the cat's litter. But this kitty litter isn't clay litter, this or some other type. It's just chicken crumbles, so it's chicken feed. So all of this material is safe to go ahead and feed directly, doesn't need composting right into a food forest. It's just more pleasant if it gets covered up, and then all of the Earth's microorganisms will break all this material down, make it bioavailable to the network of organisms that are there. The only additional thing that I will do is I'm hoping to inoculate most areas on the whole property with a mycorrhizal inoculum in the future. But this, starting off just the way you see it here in the video, and it's just covered up with a small amount of wood chips that's probably a few days old, maybe as much as a week old, in the back of Bud's truck. So it'll just end after this is done. It's not too short as usual, but you can fast forward through it if you'd like. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you found the video of value, please give us a thumbs up. And this is an experiment. Let's see how things go. Take care, folks. Stay safe. Bye-bye now. So I'm up here at in the second food forest, and I have 2 rows of hazelnuts. This summer I did go ahead and remove the protective tree tubes, left the rebar there to help support them. These plants down at this end are the roughest looking ones. They aren't doing as well. The soil isn't all that great. This is the area where I re-sloped, made it a more gradual slope here, pulled out all the trees that were in here because it was just difficult to manage. So this is one of the swales that drains into pond 2 right over there. And the drought has been really tough on many of the plants in the food forest. So one of the things I'm doing at this point is all the weeds that we pull out. So there's lots of purslane and weeds and dandelion and mugwort, all sorts of different weeds that we've gotten out of, and even quackgrass. So we leave it in containers, and I'll show you the type of containers in a minute. And during the drought, it's really good to actually kill those plants. And I haven't been doing any weeding up here, unfortunately, but that's what it is. So here's broccoli in here. There's cabbage, there's weeds underneath it. There's our kitty litter underneath some of the areas. Now the kitty litter isn't a clay litter. It's a chicken crumble feed mix, which breaks down beautifully. And when you're not, if it isn't a vegetable that you're worried about contamination from Toxoplasma gondii or some other potential pathogen, they work, the kitty litter, as long as it's not a bunch of clay, works very well in the food forest. Now you can compost it and all, or you can just mix it in with your weeds, like weeds here and all. There are a couple corn stalks that blew over in the wind, lots of weeds, and then we got cabbage and a whole variety of different broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, weeds, and in different areas. And so we just place it down along in here, and it's a really good carbon source and nutrient source, minerals as well, but an excellent carbon source for all of the beautiful microorganisms that are living in the soil. So our goal here is to feed the soil. Now, I made videos in the past on sheet mulching, and I've made videos on using old books, whether they're journal books or they're, whatever magazines you get and all. And yes, they are coded color prints and all. So like some of these magazines are going to go into feeding the food forest. But yesterday we went ahead and harvested some corn. So this is also going to go here. Now, we're real careful since we worry about dogs getting foreign bodies in their intestines. So corn cobs are really known, and we've pulled quite a few out of digestive systems of dogs. And our dog is a garbage hound. So I like mixing up all the different plant materials. And these are all going to break down and feed the microorganisms. So all of our kitchen scraps, now I've already used up all of our kitchen scraps, but whenever you're processing any food, these all go into this area. Now, we don't consume animal products, so we don't have dairy or meat products or fish or shelled animals, but I wouldn't recommend it for this sort of system. I would put it in a different type of system if I were a typical omnivore. But when you're a complete whole food plant-based person, I think these systems work extremely well. Our dog just loves sniffing through all this stuff, so and Bud, our guy who delivers wood chips, dropped off a really small load of wood chips last night, so I can't go very far with this. I am saving cardboard for another project, for more sheet mulching rather, but I'll just get enough material to cover these areas here. Now, one of the great things about sheet mulching is you use the cardboard, especially if you use multiple layers. That'll suppress grass, it'll suppress weeds, and as you move it tightly around your trees in the food forest or whatever it is that you're up against, that really does a fantastic job of keeping even any plant from emerging from the soil. So it deprives it of getting the photosynthesis that it desperately needs from a root that's there or from a seed that's there. One of the issues when we're dealing with a plant like hazelnuts, one of the things I want to do is not put cardboard right up against it. Now, I'd love to be able to put cardboard, let's say, for 3 foot wide here in between them. And in some places where the plants are doing better, we could see the emergence of new shoots coming up. And these will turn into big bushy hazelnut if we take good care of them. So I wouldn't put the sheet mulch right up tight to there, but feeding them with a good rich carbon source can be great. Now, if I wasn't real busy, I'd be tearing these up a lot more during the whole process here, like this, tearing things up and laying it down. But and I do have magazines and all that and books, but these will all go in here and they'll all get broken down. That's a good book, Seeds of Change. Some of these, Thea decided these ones are going to go out into these systems instead of going to the Salvation Army. Often, well, we have stuff that we go to Goodwill regularly, but I guess Thea decided these ones aren't going there. Even these hardcovered books like this Northern Tool and Equipment, these things end up breaking down when I start taking apart some of our culture systems and all. Now this one's going to take quite some time. Windows 7. That was a while ago. Now I know I'll get some comments, people concerned about the chemicals and the inks that are used. I've made videos in the past about bioremediation and the microorganisms that actually break down all of these components. And in a food forest, I don't believe that there's any concern. If someone wants a comment, please attach a peer-reviewed scientific article that has that's actually peer-reviewed. If there is a concern and someone wants to talk about it, I'm happy to discuss it. Science-based, but I just don't want to. I'm not going to respond if it isn't other than someone's feelings or thoughts. I'm really interested in facts. Now when you put the papers really dense and close together, it will take it a little bit more time. You want to have some spaces between the various components. All our old wildlife rehabilitation books. From years ago. Now in this bin here is our paper towels that we use for our meals as napkins, and then they're used for cleaning throughout the day. And our Amy's pizza. There are little bits for our envelopes, little bits of plastic in here. For the most part, all of these things tend to break down. There's adhesive used to hold these boxes together here, but they all break down. I really could use a couple truckloads of cardboard and paper products and a heck of a lot more wood chips as well. Okay, now I'm going to go get the tractor, get some wood chips, and just cover up this area here. As we get more produce and all, we'll extend it. As long as we've got wood chips available, we'll use whatever paper products here. Anything that's organic that can break down goes into the food forest. Lots of garlic, cabbage in here. It's actually quite nice when I can drive up to the spots. And I've got some rock picking to do up here after doing the leveling. All of this wood chips and paper products will all hold water once we get some decent rains. And it'll help to suppress some of the weeds. And it's going to feed all the microorganisms that feed our perennial crops. Zero waste. That's a goal someday, to be not producing any waste at all.